Today, we're really excited to have, I would call him a true veteran in the space, somebody who's been around for quite some time. And it's none other than Farzam, the CEO of VALR. How are you, Farzam?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me, David.
Yes, and thank you for getting on the call with us. So maybe we can just start quickly with, for people who probably don't know who you are, a bit of introduction about you and how you got into the space.
Yeah, sure. So Farzam Ehsani, as mentioned, what can I say? I grew up in Kenya, so I know that's where you are right now. Um, my primary school and secondary school were there. I spent some time studying in California, worked in consulting, worked in banking, and then a few years ago started VALR in 2018. We started VALR and then we launched in 2019. So shall I give a quick intro about VALR? Maybe just a couple of sentences about it, which is VALR is the largest exchange headquartered in Africa. So by volume and by the number of assets that we have on our platform, we allow our customers to buy and sell crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, 60 other cryptocurrencies, very simply, very simply through the web, through your app. And then we also have a lot of advanced traders who use our API, our application programming interface, so that they can have sophisticated trading algorithms or high frequency trading, etc. And we're really here to serve people. We believe that there's a new paradigm that's taking place. People are moving from a traditional financial system that's really based on national boundaries for the most part, and we're moving towards a more globalized world that recognizes our inherent unity as a human race. And we need a financial system to fit that, and our current system doesn't do that. So we're trying to help build a financial system that recognizes the oneness of the human race.
Thanks for that, Fazam. Now, I know VALR has grown really fast. I remember, I think in 1 year, you were the fastest growing platform on the continent. How has that growth been like? I mean, what has influenced that growth from your perspective?
Yeah, I think there aren't many platforms in Africa that allow people to come and buy and sell crypto, first of all. It's a relatively new ecosystem still, even though, now everybody's heard about Bitcoin and crypto and it's becoming much more prevalent. But still, most people in this world have never interacted with crypto, right? They've now started to hear about it. So I think we thought we were very late, but I think we were still relatively early, still launching, a few years ago. We came to the market, as I said, with a very strong offering of a lot of different types of cryptocurrencies with some of the lowest fees in the world. And really, even when we talk to our investors, we tell them openly that we're here to serve. So we're not going to be charging people what we think is unfair, as we often see in the traditional financial system. We're going to be charging people what we think is fair, giving people a good deal, so that if it's my own father, mother, sister, brother, I can say, yeah, I think it's a good deal for you. Welcome onto our platform. It's a good place to buy and sell crypto. So I think that philosophy of trying to do something that's fair, that's right, that serves people, isn't something that you see actually also often in corporates in general, right? The people are trying to maximize their return at the expense of their customers. And here we're saying, no, we want to make a fair return that's fair for us and it's fair for our customers. And I think that ethos has kind of permeated our organization. It's permeated the market as well. So people say that, okay, we can trust these guys. We know them, they're fair, and they're doing everything they can to serve us well. So I think that's gone well. And then obviously, because of the low fees, people are attracted to that. We pride ourselves in our service levels. So with many crypto markets or crypto platforms, if you want to get served, you write into their help desk, you often don't get a response in days and sometimes weeks. And we pride ourselves that I think the latest that I checked, the average time to get a response from an email that you sent in to send into us is about 32 minutes. So we were really like trying to put our customers at the forefront so that we can serve them well, provide a fantastic product, and hopefully take that to more of the world.
Oh, okay. 32 minutes. That's quite impressive.
I think that was more than 2 minutes. But
All right. I mean, Farzam also, like you mentioned, VALR has the widest selection of cryptos of any platform on the continent. Again, I have to say it's a bold statement, but again, would you like to elaborate a bit further on that?
Yeah, no, it's not meant to be a bold statement. It's meant to be a factual statement. So, when I say that we're the largest exchange headquartered in South Africa with the largest in Africa with the largest offering, there are many other platforms globally that have more assets than ourselves that are headquartered in other parts of the world, right? So if you look at, there are many that we know, some of the bigger guys that have more assets than us. But as I said, we have about 60 plus assets now on the platform. So, you're the journalist, David. You can tell me if that's a false statement. But from my knowledge, there is no other platform in Africa that is headquartered here that offers more crypto assets than that. So it's meant to be a factual statement, not a bold statement. And if the facts are wrong, very happy to be corrected. But until that time is corrected, I think that there is no other platform that I know of that has more than 60 cryptos. And we're keeping very close contact with the market and understanding who's offering what. So I believe that my information is correct.
Indeed, yes. Now, again, also Farzam, let me say this again. VALR also claims to have processed over 7 billion USD in trading volumes with over 250,000 employees, with over 500 institutional clients. I'm sure you can confirm that, right? But also, tell us about that growth from that perspective.
Yeah, so it's interesting when you say the word claim, and I know it because I run the exchange, but other people don't know it because they're looking at it from the outside, right? And I think it's maybe good for viewers to hear this as well, which is historically in crypto, people have inflated their numbers, right, to sound bigger than what they actually are, right? And in fact, there's a term for that, which is called wash trading, which is, you get people to buy and sell from themselves. And so you can increase the volume. So it looks like there's a lot of activity on the platform, but actually there isn't. Now, there's a couple of things. Number one, wash trading doesn't allow you to earn any fees. You're paying yourself, right? So there's no revenue that comes from that. And so, we have obviously a bunch of different external investors that have done due diligence on us, etc. And one of the things that we pride ourselves in is that we do not lie or misrepresent to our customers. We are very transparent about who we are and what we're doing. So when we put things like that into the market, yes, people need to trust us, but it's part of our ethos of what we're doing. And obviously you can't just take me on face value for when I say that. You should do your research, talk to the market, talk to investors, whatever you need to do. So the total volumes that we're talking about, last I checked, is over 115 billion rand worth of trading, which is well over 7.5, 8 billion USD, right, converted. Obviously, when I say USD, our major trading pair is Bitcoin Rand trading. So people that are trading in Bitcoin but against the Rand, right? That's the largest part of our business. So again, it's not a claim from me. It's a statement from me that people can say, we claim to do that. From the inside, we do that, but we wouldn't run let me take a step back, David. I think philosophically, the world is a little bit off tilt, right? And we are going for some of the wrong things, right? Or people are trying to maximize the amount of wealth that they have at the expense of others, etc. And we can go all the way to the other side where there's absolute fraud to corporate philosophies about maximizing profit at the expense of customers, etc. Our belief is that we are a part of our global system. The integrity with which we run our company is much more important to me than what the numbers that I report to our investors are, right? And those numbers have to have integrity, right? What we tell the market, what I tell you, what I'm speaking to you right now, has to have integrity. And if it doesn't, then we have much bigger problems in the world, which is one of the problems that we have in this world. So it's a long way to say that, yes, all the things that I say to you, I will never lie to you or anyone else or any customer or the public, but it's important to verify. It's difficult sometimes to verify, but it's important for people to understand who they're actually dealing with when they're in crypto, and otherwise, right? Whenever you're dealing with anybody for any reason, actually.
All right.
So sorry for that little detour, but I think it's important because a lot of people in crypto ask these questions. Say, "Oh, are you sure?" I don't lie. Like, I don't tell people things that are false. And I think it's important for people to hear that from me as the CEO of the company, and then let them try to verify it for themselves. We have, over 50 employees ourselves, and those employees kind of see the internal workings of the company, and the company is growing. You talked about growth. We're going to be going from about 45 employees to probably doubling within the next year. So that verification is important, as you said, just to make sure that people do that themselves.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, one of the reasons why we like to talk to CEOs is we like to hear from them. It's one thing to read that we are pushing these numbers, but it's another thing if someone, a CEO comes to you and tells you, yes, this is factual, and this is not true. So yeah, thank you for that, Farzam. Talking about numbers, you recently raised $50 million. That's the largest raise of any crypto company in Africa. How did that come about?
Yeah, good question. We didn't need to raise the money, first of all. I think it's important to say. The company is profitable right now. We're planning to not be profitable because we're going to be investing a lot into our people, into the technology, into international expansion. But we raised because we thought it's a very good time to raise for a number of reasons. It's still early days in crypto, as I mentioned. And I think there are a lot of virgin territories, so to speak, where we can go into and actually help the people in different countries of the world to come into the crypto ecosystem. And so my belief is that within the next few years, probably within the next decade, for sure, in my view, is that there won't be a financial institution that doesn't offer some type of crypto offering. I think it is, the times change so quickly, right? The internet has only been with us for a couple of decades only. And still, there isn't really any financial institution that isn't on the internet today, even though none of them were in the early 90s, right? So those financial institutions are also going to be coming into crypto. They're not, for the most part, in crypto yet. So we feel that there's a huge opportunity now to raise the money that we did, to go into new jurisdictions, to plant our flag there, to serve our customers there, because there's just huge underserved populations around the world, particularly in Africa. So that's the major impulse and reasoning behind the raise, was to actually go and have the firepower, so to speak, to go and take our product and our services and grow and build the team so that we can take it to more and more people. We could have done it organically. It would have been slower, but we decided with the raise, we can do it much quicker and not just use our own profits, but use injected capital from other investors.
Now, expansion, you mentioned expansion, one of the reasons for the raise. We know that expansion right now still has challenges, and I'm talking about regulation here, which is still a big issue. You're in South Africa. South Africa is obviously a bit advanced. The regulators are talking about having regulation this year, but other parts of the continent have barely even started having this conversation. Do you mind talking to us about regulation and how you feel it will affect your business, both positively and negatively, moving forward?
Absolutely. Regulation is a big part of the financial markets in general. And regulation is coming to crypto. It has already done so in certain jurisdictions. In Africa, we're a little bit slow to get regulatory frameworks into place. But again, most of the world is slow. It's still early days, but we've made progress. So in South Africa, they've, as you mentioned, they've put out a number of policy papers to be consulted on by the public, to be commented on by the public, and also kind of a pathway and a roadmap for that regulatory framework to be put into place. I'm also in touch with people in different countries, in Kenya as well, about the regulatory frameworks there. As you know, there was recently a paper put out by the CBK, I believe it was, about central bank digital currencies. Now, that's not crypto in the sense of decentralized crypto that we're talking about. It's a new form of fiat currency, which is the government currency, but it's underpinned by a blockchain technology and crypto. So those conversations have started. So regulation is an interesting thing because poorly informed regulation is a disaster, right? It doesn't serve the public that regulation is meant to serve. It doesn't serve the industry that is trying to serve the public. And in fact, poorly informed regulation effectively damages GDP growth, right? It damages the employment prospects of a population. It damages the tax revenues that are possible for a particular country to earn through creating an environment through a well-defined, well-informed regulatory framework that actually attracts capital, it attracts talent, it attracts entrepreneurs, it attracts the ability for a country to progress, right? Particularly for VALR, we recognize that regulation is important. We want to be regulated. It's very important that we say that to you and to the public and to the regulators, because that is what's actually required for crypto to become a means to affect and to serve more people, right? It's unreasonable that a financial product will just go and become very rampant, and then the regulators will not pay any attention to it and just say let it proceed, whereas financial instruments and financial products and other sectors of our system are regulated. So that the information, the regulators' kind of education is critical. We spend a lot of time speaking to regulators, offering our services. And so if any regulator is listening to this, always happy to have conversations so that we can share our knowledge, right? In the absence of regulation, we are already taking a very proactive approach. So in South Africa, for example, they've been talking about a regulatory framework that we have been ready for about 3 years since we started, right? So we have what's called the RMCP, Risk Management Compliance Program. We KYC, know your customer. For all of our customers, we have to do KYC. We know all of them. Nobody's allowed to trade a single cent on our platform unless they pass through our KYC processes. These are not required of us at the moment. And we actually engage and conduct them at considerable cost to ourselves because we think it's the right thing to do, because we think that's the way that the regulatory framework will ultimately pan out. And we don't want our platform to be used for illicit purposes, of course, right? And so one of the main reasons for KYC is that you know who is doing what, and that you can assist in any at any time when things are not doing or not happening as they should be. Then you can stop certain activity from happening if you ever need to, or work with regulators to make sure that the integrity of the platform is very high. So those are the main things I would say about regulation. We're still very early. We need to promote well-informed regulation, and we need to ensure that regulation serves its purpose, which is to protect people, to serve people, and to serve a population.
Thank you for that detailed breakdown, obviously, on regulation. Here at BitKE, we take regulation seriously. We've been talking about it for quite some time. And if there's one thing I have to commend you on is, as an exchange, is you are proactive in that regard, because it's not quite common to see exchanges really being proactive when it comes to regulation, especially on the continent. Now, you mentioned about expansion. I mean, again, you're quite conversant with these jurisdictions and what's happening clearly. I believe that's part of your expansion plan, right? So you've mentioned Kenya and other places. Maybe you can give us just a breakdown of maybe which jurisdictions you're looking at in terms of your expansion, and
Sure.
how you're looking at expansion, as VALR.
Yeah, so when you look at the African continent, there are big pockets of population, of people, and the typical ones you look at is Nigeria, in West Africa, or Ghana as well. You look at Kenya in East Africa, maybe even a little bit, further south, go to Tanzania, and further west, go to Uganda. There are also big populations like Ethiopia, but Ethiopia is quite a difficult climate sometimes to operate in, and it's a climate that you have to have very good know-how of kind of how things work. It's a very kind of closed economy in many ways, right? And then if you come a little bit more to Southern Africa, we're in South Africa right now, but places like Zambia, Botswana, we're looking at. We would love to go to North Africa as well. It's an area that we don't know so well. Obviously, different language, and so for the time being, we're focusing on Sub-Saharan Africa. But we're also looking at other emerging markets like India. So we also have an entity that's in India right now. We have people that we're going to be hiring in India. And we're looking very closely at that market. That market is also one where it is trying to grapple and understand what the best regulations are for crypto. They've recently come out with some, tax statements about the impact of taxes on crypto, which I don't think are in the interests of, of the crypto ecosystem, first of all, and also the Indian ecosystem, because I think they will damage the industry, and then therefore all the other things that I was talking about, which is employment and the fiscus, etc. But those are the geographic areas that we're looking at right now. We already have on-ramps with ZAR. We have on-ramps with USD via USDC. We have a partnership with Circle, so you can actually deposit US dollars, and those US dollars get converted to USDC, which is a stable coin, and you can use those stable coins on VALR. And then we're looking at on and off ramps, across the world. So maybe, David, just to take a few moments to just explain kind of our ecosystem. Is we help buyers and sellers come together. Our technology helps matching those buyers and sellers. We take a small fee when we match those buyers and sellers. We then integrate into blockchain networks, and we also integrate into the traditional financial system. And then we act as a bridge between the traditional financial system and the crypto ecosystem. And so we're always looking into integrating into new crypto blockchains. We're also looking into integrating into new fiat ecosystems, banking ecosystems. And so some of the challenges in certain parts of the world is just getting those bank accounts, right? But if we can get bank accounts in different parts of the world, it's not easy. There's other considerations like liquidity, etc. But it's one of the biggest stumbling blocks to actually promote the on-ramping of an entire population into crypto, is those on-ramps, those fiat on-ramps.
Great. Yes, I have to say I've seen your partnerships with a few of these on-off ramps in Africa. Again, quite commendable. As we wind up, we could. I mean, I think I could talk to you for quite a long time. As we wind up, maybe, do you mind giving us a snapshot of how you see the crypto space in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe, and the role that maybe VALR will play within the next 3 to 5 years across the continent and beyond?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think what I'll start off by saying is that a lot of people separate crypto from traditional finance, right? And it's very difficult to talk about crypto as a separate entity and a separate ecosystem from traditional finance and fiat currencies. Those things go hand in hand. And the reason I say that is that my comments are maybe a little bit more about the traditional ecosystem or traditional financial system, which I think will go under more and more strain over the next couple of years. And as kind of our central banks grapple with some of the monetary issues that we have in the world, some of the also non-monetary issues, which is fiscal issues, just growth issues, inflation issues that we have in the world, inflation being a monetary issue, we will start to see, I think, a migration, more and more people coming into crypto from the retail sector, so people like yourself and myself, to the corporate and institutional sector, from banks and also corporate treasuries coming into crypto. And I think more and more we'll also see nation states come into crypto, right? We've already seen a couple that have started embracing cryptocurrencies, but I think more and more we'll start to see that people will start to recognize the power that crypto has in our financial systems, and they will start to embrace. What does that mean? I think there will still be a lot of volatility in crypto, there's no doubt, right? And so I think people should be very aware of that volatility, and I'm always saying very openly that you need to be very careful when you invest in crypto, because if you're investing school fees or money that you need for rent next month or whatever it may be, it is probably ill-advised to put that money into crypto, because it could halve when you need the money, right? And if you're going to try to pay it in fiat currency. So you need to keep that context, clear, which is that the volatility should continue for quite some time to come. But I think what we will still see is, as money comes into this ecosystem, we'll start to see more players like VALR offer more services. The competition will increase. I think we'll start to see the traditional players come in as well. With that increased interest, I think we'll start to see prices rise in the long run, right? I'm not talking about the short-term volatility. And also we're going to see jurisdictions from a regulatory perspective that will have or be promoting crypto. So we've just recently seen Dubai come out with a regulatory framework to attract a lot of players like ourselves to their shores. And we will see a lot of regulatory regimes that will start clamping down on crypto more, right? I think at their own detriment, at their own expense in the long run. But this is a movement, and this is a technology that shouldn't be taken lightly or underestimated. And I think its relevance to the world of using cryptography to underpin our financial system, and that's where cryptocurrency comes from cryptography, then we'll start to see the power become greater and greater. But it will have headwinds, and there's no doubt about that, from a number of sectors, as I said, regulatory in some jurisdictions, and a lot of volatility as well. But it's an exciting place to be, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to kind of be dabbling, be building, be playing, be promoting this space every day. So I'm very privileged.
Yeah. Again, also happy to talk to you as well. You share a lot of gems of knowledge, and even how to build a successful exchange, on the continent, which is not always easy. So congratulations on that. So for people who want to, use VALR or want to get started with VALR, where can they go?
Yeah, valr.com, and it's pronounced VALR, but it's spelled VALR. So V for victory, A for alpha, L for London, R for Robert.com. And you can go and sign up. It's free to sign up, no monthly fees. It should be a very easy sign-up process. If it's not, you can also be in contact with me at Farzam Ehsani. My handle is Farzam Ehsani on Twitter. Probably the best place to find me. And would love to serve you. Would love people to sign up and help us get better and serve you better. So if there are ideas, products that you also need to be built, please let us know. Our team is always excited to see what customers want and how we can serve you better.
Thank you so much, Farzam, for talking to us.
Thanks for your time, David. Really lovely meeting you, or in person and chatting, and look forward to staying in touch.